Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the Berea Tourism Commission meeting. It's Wednesday, May 14th, 2025. I'm Will Gover, Vice Chair. And we're going to begin with we're in Council Chambers, 212 Chestnut Street. We're going to begin with our roll call. Laura Carpenter.
Here.
Jim Davis.
Here.
Donna Brewer.
Here.
Shelley Wolf.
Here.
Todd Holbrook.
Here.
David Gregory.
Here.
And I'm Will Gover. I'm present, and we have a quorum today. Going to begin with the approval of our agenda. If y'all could take a moment and review that.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the agenda passes unanimously. Moving on to the next item is going to be approval of minutes. We're actually going to have 2 minutes in here from the special called meeting and the regular meeting from last month as well. So I'll give you all a moment to review those, and I'll be open for a motion when you are done.
I make the motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda, you got welcome of new commissioners. Danny?
Thank you so much. I just wanted to take a second and welcome our new tourism commissioners, Jim Davis and David Gregory. We're excited to have you as part of this team and to see, how your ideas and your thoughts can help make tourism flourish through the next years.
All right. The next item on the agenda is a discussion of the chairman position, opening up for elections. It's on the agenda, Dana.
We will just need a nomination and a vote for that.
I nominate Will Gover.
Second.
Well, I'll accept the nomination. Is there any other?
Do we need to nominate a vice chair at this time, or do we need to wait on that and vote on him first?
All right, we'll go ahead and do a roll call vote on that. Laura Carpenter,
Yes.
Jim Davis,
Yes.
Donna Brewer,
Yes.
Shelley Wolf,
Yes.
Todd Holbrook,
Yes.
David Gregory.
Yes.
All right, and vote yes and accept there, so that passes unanimously. All right, moving on, we now have a vacancy in vice chairs.
I'd like to make the nomination in the form of a motion to nominate Donna Brewer as vice chair.
Well, thank you.
Second.
Do we have any other nominations? All right, no other nominations. Let's bring it roll call vote here. Laura Carpenter.
Will she accept?
Yes, accept.
Yes.
Sorry, I looked. Or accepted there. Jim Davis,
Yes.
Donna Brewer,
Yes.
Shelley Wolf,
Yes.
Todd Holbrook,
Yes.
David Gregory,
Yes.
and we'll go over a yes as well. So that passes unanimously. So congratulations, Donna.
Congratulations to you.
We'll move on to the next agenda item that takes care of that. Number 6 is reimbursable marketing funds presentation with Pam there. Hank.
Our fair chairman just ran to the restroom. He was unsure where we were on the agenda, so my apologies.
Okay, we can move along to the report, and we can catch back up to you on number 6 in just a moment then. All right. Next is interim director and media report, Danny Gift.
Thank you, Commissioners. I know we have a lot that we're going over and a lot that we're doing today, so I'm going to keep this fairly brief. And of course, as always, if you have any questions or need clarification on anything, you can feel free to email me. So for the month of April, we had 1,096 visitors to the Welcome Center and 130 calls. So we are definitely picking up month over month as we typically see this time of year, but we are a little behind for the year. And that's something that we're not seeing just here in Berea, but we're starting to see statewide. Travel has slowed down a little bit. So we're hoping that with the nice weather and lots of events coming up, we'll start to see that pick back up. Our top 5 visitor locations, Kentucky, Michigan, Ohio, Tennessee, and new to the top 5 this time, South Carolina. South Carolina just beat out Indiana this time, so that's definitely an area to look at more marketing for in the future, since we are seeing quite a bit of traffic from there. Welcome Center news and operations. We had the Easter egg hunt, which was kind of a scavenger hunt last month. We put out 12 large Easter eggs with like scavenger hunt things inside. You have to find this or go to this place just to get people moving around town. And we had a lot of luck with that. We had a lot of those picked up, a lot of those prizes picked up. The Berea Gallery, the part-time workers will begin there as soon as Donna gives the go-ahead. The original plan was for this week. However, they're finishing up on some maintenance and repairs. So just as soon as she gives the word, we will start opening that at least a few days a week. Other than that, personally, I have been working on a transition binder of information for Nancy as she comes into the position starting next week. And just sort of where we are on all of our events, what we have done and what still needs to be done. That way we can try to make the transition as seamless as possible. Beautification, all of our flowers have been planted across town, and I just want to take a second to thank Williams Greenhouse. They were phenomenal to work with, especially when I walked in there, saw all the pretty things, and they told me all the things I shouldn't put out in the sun. So they were really great about saying, we're going to look at this spot, this is what we're going to put here, because this is what's going to make sense and last the longest. So they were incredibly patient with us as we figured it out, and really excited to see as everything starts to grow together and see how it turns out. The banners will go back up in Old Town as soon as Public Works has some time. I have reached out to them about that. And I have made the recommendation that the salt shack needs to be reassessed for safety concerns after the last storms. And I have reached out to Codes for that to take a look at it. I know we just replaced a roof on it less than a year ago. That roof itself is now bent, the brand new roof. So, so I think we're going to have to look at something a little bit more substantial in terms of repair if you choose to keep it. Learn Shops, we finished up our Spring into Learn Shops. We had 21 classes scheduled, 62 tickets sold, and 2 of those classes sold out completely. The most popular classes were glass blowing, pyrography, and crushed glass. So good to know that everybody loves anything that has to do with fire. L&N Day and the Juneteenth celebration, we are continuing to secure our vendors. We have secured the parade permit through the police department for the car show parade, and a request for food trucks has been sent out. This weekend, we have our very first pavilion concert of the year. It is Mirage, and they do a little bit of R&B, a little bit of jazz, a little bit of hip hop. They're really fun. And kind of a side note, the lead singer is also a motivational speaker. So he tells some really, really great stories. We will have the Cupcake Trailer joining us for that as well. We recently put out, in case you haven't seen it yet, we have our brand new banners for the pavilion concerts. They're out on the fence line now at the pavilion. And we did something a little bit different this year because in the past, the biggest complaint that we had was, well, you've got all of your artists listed on there, but you're going by too fast to see it. It's all too small. So what we ended up doing was creating one large sort of generic sign that just says, this weekend, 7 p.m., bring a chair. And then there's another smaller banner that goes with it that announces the band. And then that changes out for every concert. So it's a little bit easier to see driving by. Did a ton of drive-by tests with these to figure out what was going to work. And those seem to be able to be seen better. And we've actually gotten some comments on those already in terms of getting people's attention. We also have matching posters for all of those that are going out into the local businesses now. And I was going to bring those with me and forgot. The Craft Festival, we have 112 spots filled, food trucks chosen, and entertainment applications have been reviewed. So far, we have collected $24,175 in jury fees and booth deposits. Our total revenue for those, as it stands right now, will be $33,600, which is almost $2,000 over last year. And about 50 to 60% of the mapping has been done for getting all of those vendors out into the woods and into the correct spots. Additional news, Deborah and Emily will be attending the KTIA Spring Travel Forum starting today. So as soon as we get out of here, they're going to get on the road, heading to Shepherdsville to learn all about trends and what's working well in other places. I know there's a great motor coach piece to that as well. So they'll be bringing back some great information as well. Moving on into the media report. Just a couple numbers that I'll point out here. I know that these are a lot, but our total reach for April on Facebook is just over 1.6 million. And one thing that you'll see is, in February we only had 148,800, and then in March it jumps to 1.1 million and then to the 1.6. What you're seeing right there is the beginning of our paid marketing. So once that paid marketing hits and these advertisements are going out everywhere, they're directing them back to our page. So in those months, we do see a really large jump. We'll see that in spring, and then we see it again in the fall. Link clicks, we had 3,085 link clicks, and about 80% of those were Learn Shops. So people interested, even if they didn't book a class now, they're asking, when can we book in the future? What's coming up next? We also had a big jump in new followers, and of course that also comes with the spring marketing push. Same thing with Instagram. We saw about a 32,000 person increase on impressions, and a lot of that really is just coming from all of the paid marketing. Now going down to Constant Contact, and for anyone who is not familiar with Constant Contact, that is who we send out our newsletters through every month. That's our monthly newsletters, our Learn Shops, things like that. The open rate for April was 41%, and that's versus 39% this time last year. And our click rate has stayed relatively the same at 3%. So 3% doesn't seem like a lot, but the industry standard for tourism and hospitality in click rate is 1%. So as long as we're staying over 1%, I stay pretty happy with that. Now, we did have 35 new subscribers. However, you're going to see that that total number of subscriptions went down. And that's because every couple months, I take a look at the constant contact list. I see what emails are bouncing back. I see what emails are not being opened, and we scrub those from the list. The big reason for that being is that once you get to a certain number of registrations, your price goes up. So we wanted to make sure that everyone who is actually paying attention to it and getting it is getting it. But if they're not opening it, if they're not looking at it, then we would rather save that space for someone who is and continue to not raise the price if possible. Completed digital media projects, the April newsletter, the Bluegrass Road Trip Travel Guide, and the Learn Shop follow-up emails that were sent through Constant Contact. Something that we've done with those in the past, and we've kind of stuck to just because we had good luck with it, was that we list every single class and a link directly to that class. That way we could make it as simple as possible for people to click and pay and register. Digital media projects, we are currently finishing up a partnership with a Berea College marketing class. And over the course of the next 3 weeks, now that they have turned in all of their final projects, you will see 19 different posts going out, one from every student, about Berea and their perception of Berea. And all of those posts will be marked as part of a student project, so people can see that this was something that was done in partnership with the college, and that this is a brand new group of marketing students. Most of them were freshmen. So it's kind of exciting to see sort of the world that we normally see through the eyes of people who have been here for less than a year. So those will be going out shortly. Deborah has continued to add events to the online event calendar, which thank you so much for that, because that is a long and kind of tedious process. But the good thing is we have a lot of events coming up. So be sure to watch on the website, visit berea.com/events. You can see everything that's going on. Also, if you go to the website under events, there is a button you can push to submit an event. So if you or anyone that you know is having an event, then submit that to us, and we'll get that up on the website usually within 2 business days. Print projects completed. We've done the pavilion posters and the banners. Those are all here. Travel Host Magazine Summer Edition. Everything has been turned in for that. We usually get a pretty large advertisement, entries onto their calendar, and a couple additional pictures with that. So all of that's been turned in. That will come out in June. And then the L&N Day and Craft Festival print materials have been sent to the printer. Last thing that I have is that I met with Right Place Media to discuss the plan for the 25-26 fiscal year, including the changes to the budget, as well as moving forward to do more digital. And they responded really well. They were excited to start looking at new avenues for digital marketing to see how we can best spend the money allotted for that. And that's all I have for the reports.
Thank you, Danny. We'll move back to number 6 there. That is reimbursable marketing funds, presentation by Pam there.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for seeing us today. My name is Pamela Kavatikin. I'm the president of the Kentucky Guild of Artists and Craftsmen. As you know, we're a 61-year-old organization that has been rooted here in Berea and started at Berea College. We're here today to ask for marketing reimbursement for our fall fair. And Benjamin Maddox is our fair chairperson, and he will be presenting today.
Good afternoon, board members. So, my name is Benjamin Maddox. I've been on the Kentucky Guild of Artists and Craftsmen's board for this is my second term, and I am the fair committee chairman for last year's event at the Kentucky Artisan Center, which was October 19th and 20th. And I look forward to being the chairman for the show this year for 2025. I'd like to first off and say thank you all for sponsoring our event last year. It went leaps and bounds for the show, especially for it being a first-time event. From the surveys and stuff that the Lori Meadows?
Lori Meadows from
Kentuckians for the Arts. Via those surveys, since this is a show that was right off I-75, there were a lot of people coming from out of state. We partnered with Kentucky Tourism, Kentucky Tourism Arts and Heritage, as well as the Kentucky Arts Council on this event, gathering that data, trying to get this show off the ground with our membership, where 10% of that, of those who attended the show as artists, was reserved for guest artists who were part of the community and wanted to be part of the show. So we are petitioning for the reimbursement program for last year's expenses relating to advertising. We spent had a total advertisement of $6,964, and all of our receipts are available. Unfortunately, I do not have copies at this time. I'd be more than happy to make some with all the documents in hand. And with that said, I hope you all will consider this to whatever ability you all have, and thank you for your time.
Is there any questions or anything for us?
Anyone have any questions for Ben or Pam?
And we gave 6,000 last year, or-
No.
No, that was what we spent as the Kentucky Guild.
and what did we give, 25 or?
$1,000.
$1,000.
Yes.
And that was a separate.
The $1,000 is a sponsorship that we always provide to them that goes toward operational costs.
And the marketing was separate from that.
And
So, you might want to tell them some of the marketing that we did do.
so the marketing, which we did, was on postcards, which artists handed out through all of their shows, both in-state and out-of-state, with the Bria Tourism logo on there, as well as our other sponsors. We did advertisement on ABC 36 with live TV interviews with artists about the event, showcasing some of that work, saying what was going to happen. We had... what else did we have?
Do
We
you know
did
how
social
many-
media marketing.
How many people did you all have? Do you-
We had about 3,000 people that came to the event as a first-time event, and that is also considering that last year, with it being a first-time event, ran into some roadblocks. One, the biggest thing was that the Artisan Center's water main broke that morning, so we adjusted accordingly, and we were completely self-sufficient with the Artisan Center's grounds in that show. And there were artists ranged in their sales from making their booth fee, which is about $200, all the way to $4,000. And there were several cases of that as well. So
I think that we didn't get a good count of how many people could be coming in because of that, the Artisan Center being closed to the public, so.
Right, in your
I think
first year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's the first year at the Artisan Center, yeah.
And a lot of the people that were coming to the show were coming right off the interstate. Funny enough, they saw all the tents because it was set behind the field at the Artisan Center where you're able to see it from the interstate. So a lot of clientele were coming straight from traveling, whether not just to stop to go to the restroom as a rest stop,
But
but
seeing our actual fair being there. So I think, that doesn't include just people coming in to use the Artisan Center. So I think that we don't have clear data on how many people we could pull in, considering that setback. Any other questions?
Any other questions for Ben and Pam?
So we can get this information to you, and Danny will turn that in. We're very sorry that we do not have copies for everyone to look at today.
I will mention some of those people that came from out of state were from Huntington, West Virginia, Madisonville, Tennessee, Cleveland, Ohio, Morristown, Tennessee, Sandusky, Ohio, Chicago, Illinois, and Cincinnati. And we did dedicated marketing in Cincinnati and Knoxville. So, yeah.
Well, thank you all for your presentation out there.
Awesome. Thank you all
so
for your
much
time.
letting us come. Thank you for your time.
All right, moving along, we've already covered item 6 and 7 there. Going to move along to number 8. It's 2025, 2026 budget approval. Danny Gift.
So this is just a follow-up from the special called meeting that we had. After meeting with finance, we did make one line item adjustment, and that was moving $60,000 from the outdoor furniture and fixtures line item and putting it back into the beautification. That was part of what we had planned for the self-watering planters and, you know, just things to spruce up the city. So that right there is the only real change that we made since the last time we met, unless there are any changes that you all would suggest before we vote.
I'll give everyone a moment here to review it. If you have anything you need to add.
We do have a question.
Bottom line didn't change, correct?
Correct. The bottom line didn't change. Just the line item that it was placed in.
Grant awards, I think maybe there was an extra zero put in there. It should have been 10,000.
If you all want to move it back down to 10,000, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm sure that that was probably an oversight or something.
Make a motion to.
Yeah, I make a motion, we bring it back to the 10,000.
All right, we have a motion.
I'll second that.
All right. Is there any opposed to moving that line item? None opposed. That passes unanimously. All right. Is there any other discussion we need to have on the budget? Any other items, or one will be open for a motion to approve the budget?
I'll make a motion to approve the budget.
I'll second that.
All right, we got a motion and second. Is there any opposed? All right, this passes unanimously. All right. Next up on the list, group planner, tour planner report, Emily Reynolds.
Hello, Commissioners. Good afternoon. For those of us that were here for the last meeting, some of this is going to be repeated. I only included this for the benefit of the new commissioners. So anyway, so our past tours in April and at the beginning of May, we saw 2 Colette tours. Colette comes through Berea often, not every Sunday, but once or twice out of the month, they'll come to Berea on their way to Gatlinburg. So they'll stop for lunch, and then they'll have some artist demonstrations. And the last time I saw Colette, or at least on April 6th, they added a driving history tour of Berea, and that is something Colette has never done. So it brought them into town more. No, did they get off the bus? No, but they were able to see more of the town, and they really enjoyed that. I heard a lot of chit chat, about how they might want to come back again with their families or something to explore the town more and the surrounding towns. So getting them to add the driving tour onto their itinerary has proven to be very beneficial and somewhat important. And so that was kind of a trial run that April 6th, and they have decided to stick with that. So they have continued with those driving tours. And so they did a driving tour again on the 27th when they visited us in April. Sorry. And then on the 14th of April, we saw University of Kentucky. They were a senior group that takes classes with Kentucky, not any classes to make a degree per se, but just like arts classes to get them involved and stuff. So they came, of course, to the folk arts and crafts capital of Kentucky, and they saw different demonstrations from artists down in Old Town. And so that day they had 4 demonstrations. Usually we only do 2 or 3, but they wanted to see 4. And so they ended up seeing Tim Wade, our wood craftsman, Bob Mattingly, our jeweler, Mary Colmer, who weaves on her loom and then plays her hammered dulcimer for them. And then they also went to Maddox Maid Photography Studio because she represents a lot of artists in her shop. So she sometimes brings in her artists to demonstrate. And so her artist, Diana, with Felted by Diana, did needle felting for that group. And then they went to the Berea College Library to see the Janice Ian archives. So that's pretty cool. And then they had lunch at the cafe at Churchill's. And then we saw a field trip from Bowling Green. They went to the Forestry Outreach Center and then had lunch somewhere in town. And then skip to May, Restad tours. They come every year, usually multiple times. And so their first trip this year was on the 2nd of May. They had dinner at Boone Tavern with music performed by Al and Alice White, Alice's sister Ruth McLean, and Sam Gleaves. And then we saw 2 field trips, one right after the other. On the 7th of May, we had Berea Community Schools, their 2nd grade, the entire 2nd grade class came to our Welcome Center, so 70 2nd graders in the Welcome Center, if you can imagine that. We usually split them into 2 groups and have some of them inside while some of them are outside and then swap them. With a group this large, we had to break them up into 3 different groups, but it ended up working out really well, especially at that age group. They're able to retain a little bit more information than our preschoolers that we see come. So we did our normal train ticket buying. So for the children field trips, the new commissioners, if you don't know, when school field trips come, they learn about different types of transportation, more about trains, and then they purchase a train ticket to a destination. And then they'll go outside on the back platform and draw with chalk the destination they chose. So this time, instead of just doing those 2 things, we added a history lesson about Berea out in the front lawn. So all the kids sat in the grass while I talked to them about Berea, and they had so many questions. It was really cool because, you know, when you grow up in a town, you don't necessarily know all there is to know just because you're so used to seeing everything. Then the very next day, we had preschoolers from the Sunshine Friends with the Methodist Church come. They had brought like 19 kids in the morning and then like 17 kids in the afternoon. And then they just did the 2 normal stations. Upcoming tours in May. So we have there's 2 different groups actually. But they're coming in the same time period. So we have a motorcycle group that I've been talking about. They're coming. They're staying all over Berea and all the lodging. There's like over 200 of them that will be coming into town. They only contacted me not to plan a specific tour since there is so many of them. They really just wanted to know what's going on in Berea that day and different places that they can eat or shop. So I gave them all that information. So just expect maybe an uptick in foot traffic this weekend and into next week. And then the second group that's coming during that same time period is they're like a group that they come together and camp in campers. So they're staying down in Rockcastle County actually at the KOA, but they're coming up to Berea a lot to visit what we have going on. And that they have like 50 to 100 campers that will be coming into this area. So I don't know how exactly many people that is, but you know, so just expect a busy weekend. And then we have sunrise tours coming on Tuesday. And so they'll do the usual artist demonstrations, and then They're having lunch at Boone Tavern. And then we're seeing Colette again on the 25th of May, and they're doing their usual lunch, artist demonstrations, driving tour. And that's really all I have for now. Any questions?
Any questions?
All
Thank
right,
you,
Thank
Emily.
you.
Moving on to our next item, public comments. Do we have any today? All right.
Hello, my name is Jamie Morris, and I'm a lifelong Berea resident, and I'm here today to seek an opportunity for the Berea Dolphins. I'm sure you all aware of the pool situation, and it's unfortunate, but while we were researching grants and opportunities for us to raise money for our season, I looked at the Tourism Commission, and from the City of Berea, it states that it's to promote conventions, athletic events, and generate interest in Berea as a tourist location. And I just wanted to make you all aware of the teams and the members of our conference. We're part of the Bluegrass Swim Conference that is 13 teams. And they're from all over central Kentucky, Versailles, Frankfort, Danville, Mount Vernon, Laurel County, Paris, Winchester. And each year, when we do have discussions with our conference, they always want to come to Berea. We have the best green space, we have the best parking, and usually we host over 600 swimmers, which of course, when you add their parents, grandparents, we easily bring in 1,000 people on that one day. But throughout the season, for example, in 2023, we had tri-meets, we had our regular meets. So we're looking at 100 to 200 swimmers and their families that we're bringing in on a weekly basis from year to year. And I really feel like that we have missed the opportunity with you all. Several other swim teams do work with their either tourism commissions or their parks and recs departments. And we have always had a wonderful relationship with the parks. And but seeing how our situation has changed, we really wanted to pursue a relationship with the tourism board. We've been around for 56 years. We're a nonprofit, and we work on every swimmer basically gets a scholarship. And we try to keep our fees as low as possible, even this year with our more expenses, just because things have happened the way that they have. We still have maintained their fees to stay the same. We've not put that burden on our families. And this year, with the city, the pool being closed, and our relationship with Seabury, our expenses have increased over $8,000. We had to go from 115 swimmers to 85 swimmers just because of capacity. And then, of course, paying for Seabury. But I came here today just to start dialogue with you all. I think that perhaps that we've missed an opportunity with each other. I'm sure people outside of the swim community are unaware how many tourists that we bring in during the summer. And at the end of meets, you will see people at Apollo's, at Popolino's, spending their money in our town. And of course, we always have food trucks from year to year. And our community partners have been wonderful with us this year. We're actually having a fundraiser at Apollo's here in a couple of weeks. But we're hoping that you will just consider us for your future funding. And I just want to thank you, and if you have any questions for me, I'd love to answer them.
Any questions?
I just want to say thank you for making us aware of it. I am a former Dolphin. Were you, Shelley? No? Okay. I swam for the Dolphin from 8th grade till I was a senior.
It is truly a wonderful organization, and I think that, we've been around for 56 years, and we have our lifeguards, our former swimmers, our coaches, our former swimmers. We have grandparents involved, and And I will say this, out of those 13 teams that come to Berea from year to year, they love coming to our pool. I cannot express that enough. And it really is a wonderful organization. And I would just like to, on a personal note, I would just like to thank the Berea Arts Council. I don't know if you all have a relationship with them, but they have supported my friend Julie Salon, who is also a dolphin parent. And my girls are taking art classes with her up in town. And so we have a lovely little town. And I think that, you know, we can work with tourism and kind of spread that goodwill that I think that often, sometimes townsfolk don't realize that relationship that we can have with tourism. So I just want to thank you all for your time.
Yeah, just Todd Holbrook, very aware of the Dolphins, family members, wife, the whole 9 yards has been involved with that organization. Do great things. And the ideal behind the Dolphins, too, is like they don't just swim for an hour. Like they're there all day. I mean, it's a long, extensive event. So they are spending time, their families coming here to Berea and getting to see our community. How many events do you think you guys will have here at the Seabury Center coming this year?
We will not be having any events this year, and it is purely capacity. So all of our meets this year are away, and that is another financial burden on our families. This year we'll be traveling to Paris, to Mount Vernon, and probably conference will be at Versailles this year. It's unfortunate, but we're moving forward.
Right.
We have a wonderful relationship with the city, and we want to maintain that. But I think that it kind of opened our eyes because we didn't really realize that we do qualify with the funding for it. Because we do bring in people. It's not just like local teams against one another. It is throughout the entire Bluegrass that we are bringing in teams. So
no opportunity to bring in maybe something on the front end or the back end?
We talked about,
Here, Bria.
the new team in Richmond has asked us if we could host. And so that's kind of up in the air. We still haven't been able to finalize conference, and we do have one more open spot. If it was financially feasible for us in a space, Seabury, the two individuals that we've worked with at Seabury have been wonderful, Sean Ternique and Ryan Hess, who's the athletic director. And of course, they had people to talk to too, that they had to get permission from. But we're hopeful that we can do that, but it's still up in the air. It's a lot of moving parts.
Well, thank you for your time and bringing all that to our attention.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you. All right. Any other public comments or? All right. There are none. Mayor, Sean, do y'all have anything with? All right. We're going to be moving into commissioner comments. Anyone have anything?
I just like seeing these familiar faces, Mr. Gregory. So welcome back. I hadn't seen you in a long time, and it's good to have this guy. He's like been in Berea for a long time and a legend around here, aren't you? No. I'm so grateful you all are going to serve, and congrats to our new chairman and our vice chairman. You've already kind of been doing it a lot when I've been able to come. You've done a great job.
Well, thank you. Any other comments?
I would like to welcome the new commissioners, Jim and David, to the party. And I also would like to thank Danny Gift for all of her responsibility the past few months and what she's done for us. She's pretty much given us anything we've asked for, so thank you for all your time and effort.
Well, I'd just like to say, first off, I'd like to thank Bill and Alex for their time and dedication they had on this, on the commission here. And I'd also like to thank or welcome Jim Davis and David Gregory. Be looking forward to working with you all. And, just real quick, the flowers and stuff down in Old Town look really great. Drove down through there. Thank you all for all the staff and everything making that look great. And I'd also like to thank Donna Angel and all the tourism staff for, having the ribbon cutting up at the new event center and, the night for the contractors and everything. It was like, that was really great. Really proud of that. that space up there and looking forward to the future with that. But, all right, there's no other comments. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.